Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're new to my channel, I welcome you with open arms. I'm Aspie, and I'm all about creating mental health and awareness versus sharing my life stories with Asperger's syndrome, OCD, and the like, so that you guys can take yourself on a journey with me with Asperger's syndrome, so that you can get to know me better as a person underneath these master diagnoses. And this point of time, if you're new to my channel, also basically I do also tips and advice through these mental health disorders series of any kind, versus also just, you know, being your mental support person and the like, of just basically sharing some forms of encouragement regardless what it may be. So at this point of time, I'm taking a break from the Let's Talk series, which I'm going to get back to it hopefully in the next few days, maybe say prediction wise 3-4 days time. But in the meantime, I'm just going to try and finish up some bits that I feel needs to be addressed at the moment, like the STIM series and all the other series that I actually promised you guys at the moment, so please bear with me. So this one is a part of the STIM series, I said, so this one's called How to Stim Directly. Okay, many people may think stimming is a form of fidgeting frequently found in autistic people, which is a wonderful tool for focusing and self-control. However, the real actually definition of stimming is like a self-stimulatory behaviour sort of thing, or as well as the self-stimulation, which is a repetition of physical movement, sounds, repetitive movement of objects that is common in individuals with developmental disabilities, but mostly it's prevalent in people with those on that autism spectrum disorder. It is also considered a way in which autistic people come and stimulate themselves down when they are overridden with sensory stimuli and sensory overload, versus these meltdown stages that you see them say. Therapists view the behaviour as a protective response also to being overly sensitive to a stimuli, like I just said, be it a classic example for some, you know, autistics especially. It could be the noise factor versus the sensitivity to light, you know, and the like, basically, in which case the individual blocks less predictable environmental stimuli. Sensory processing disorder is also given as a reason by some therapists for the condition. Another theory, though, however, that has been thought of, that stimming is a very way to relieve anxiety and other emotions that comes in the way of things. Common stimming behaviours, obviously, as I shared before in the introductory to it on the playlist, which I recommend if you want. I'll link it up somewhere in this video, but just a recap of it before I continue on for what I'm sharing is that, you know, with these behaviours, as you know, they're called stims, and some of these stims may include the following, like your hand flapping, head banging, repeating noises of words, snapping fingers and spinning objects. It can be also basically other range of things, like I shared with you all briefly about how I go about with my little stimming, you know, bits and pieces. Stimming is almost always a symptom of autism, but is also regarded as part of some non-autistic individuals as, you know, behavioural patterns. The biggest difference between autistic and non-autistic stimming, however, is the type of stim and the amount of, you know, or shall we say the quantity of stimming that is involved here with them both. So in certain ways, though, however, there are certain times of day that we feel that we need to at least, you know, find a way to wanting to avoid these distracting, you know, people, or receiving that negative attention from those people. But you can't, like I said, there is a safe way about doing this, of, you know, maybe with the stimming behaviours that you're not liking, but don't fully stop it in the first place. Okay, I'm hoping basically in this kind of video guide that I'm sharing with you all today, based on these 3 steps or 4 steps, I can't remember as such. No, it is 3 parts, I should say. Humbly apologise. It is that when it's step by step that you can follow it through. But bear in mind, before I continue, also, I'm no, you know, doctor or anything like that. I'm just a normal everyday Joe blogs going about my business, minding my own business, and just trying to, you know, explain my life experiences and everything else in between of what I go through in life, and hopefully with some of the either hidden messages you could call it, or just the messages that I'm bringing across with some tips and advice along the way, that hopefully that we can, you know, work together as a team. But if any of the symptoms, like be it whatever it may be, of a form of a mental health disorder or what have you, as I said so many times before, seek professional advice, or shall we say professional help regardless what it may be of your stimming, as well as, you know, knowing that it should be okay to stim, so to speak. Number 2 of this though, however, consider the consequences of stimming conspicuously. What I mean here is you got to ask yourself some of these questions. You know, what is the worst thing that's likely to happen or could happen in some of the situations you're in? For example, maybe, you know, you're sitting for an exam as a student. You know, you could disrupt your other, you know, peers in the class with their concentration and make it even more stressful for them when they hear noises or some form of, you know, distraction that could really irritate them to the point of no return. Or maybe at a supermarket or somewhere busy, people could stare at you really strangely. Or sometimes at a family gathering, your crocheting old grandpa could scold you, or even your grandma, disapprovingly, and imply that your father failed to parent you correctly. Okay, number 3, ask yourself if you'll be okay with these consequences. However, for example, you might decide to take one for the team at the family reunion, but that you don't care if random strangers publicly display their bad manners in the supermarket. So what I mean here is, some tips here is, some autistic people may script their responses to rude people in advance, however. Okay, as I said before with the shape-shifting, some of us autistics, I'm not sure, but it's some of us will shapeshift to different situations, acting out bit by bit, observing each other's behaviours, non-autistic and autistic alike, and just mimicking to a point of degree of how we go about, you know, how to put it, how you guys come across, be it the way you think and act, we probably will pick it up thinking it's okay to do the same. But then again, like, some autistic people may script their responses, as I say, to rude people in advance. A classic example is it may help you decide what's wrong with your merits are, what's wrong with your manners, vice versa. You could reverse it back onto them. And that if someone stares at you flapping, you shall flap even more vigorously and stare right back. Number 2 of this though, many autistic people may find that they feel better not censoring themselves. Okay. Number 3, it is okay to stim directly in public too. You may feel too tired to handle judgmental looks from strangers, or need all your energy to handle the sensory stimuli of the crowds that you're with. Do what you feel is best for you though, however. There's nothing always, no right or wrong way of doing it though. Okay, number 4, last but not least, is remember that by stimming, you are not in the wrong. Stimming is a natural and healthy behaviour, okay, for our self-esteem and everything else, for us autistics and maybe for the non-autistics especially, that it allows us to function. Nobody deserves to be shamed for putting forth their best effort to interact with the world, obviously, because at the end of the day, it's only natural sometimes when it comes down to the stimming. You know, we need to know when it's best to do so and how to it. So, well, basically this ends a quick, short, brief one of the first one of the series of the stimming, of the how to stim discreetly, I should say. Give me the like for thumbs up for support. Comment below of any of the stims that you may do, or just comment below of some of the stimming situations you've been in and you felt, you know, proud of doing it, or what have you. What did you, or even another challenge is, if you do stim or you're afraid to stim, you know, what is holding you back, or do you feel that, you know, people should be more aware of us stimming regardless, or shall we just be locked up in our rooms or wherever we feel safe just to stim privately, what have you. That could be another challenge for you. All I'm just hoping, just open for discussion, and hopefully you guys will come on board with this. Also, feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, AspieAnswersAll. Feel free to share these videos around to family and friends. Do what you love what you do. Until next time, thanks for support, thanks for watching. Aspie signing out. See you all again soon.